All right, one of the under-the-radar games in the SEC this week is Missouri going to Texas A&M. Missouri's still undefeated. I feel like everybody bailed on Missouri when they went to overtime with Vanderbilt, but they didn't lose. They're still undefeated. We still think they have an advantageous schedule. But then we've got the Aggies, who they lost early to Notre Dame. They've won every game since. They gutted out a win against Arkansas just recently. This game is fascinating, and I feel like this is the game that's going to really test Missouri QB Brady Cook, who I don't know if he's been what we thought he was going to be this year. I think they've run the ball pretty well at Missouri, but I don't know that Cook has been as dynamic as everybody'd hoped. He's only averaging 7.1 yards per attempt. Now he's taking care of the ball. He's only thrown one pick he threw a pick against Buffalo, didn't throw any against Boston College or Vandy, but not particularly efficient. And they're playing a team that has really, really limited opposing quarterbacks. So Brady Cook is averaging 68.7 for his completion percentage, 77.8 against Buffalo, 70 against Boston College, 62 against Vanderbilt. A&M is going to make it hard to throw. A&M is going to chase the quarterback. A&M is going to hit the quarterback. We've seen that in all the games they've played. Only Florida, the combo of Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway, went above 60% completion percentage, and that was only 62%. Everybody except Florida has been below 7 yards per attempt against them. So can Brady Cook break out against a defense that is really designed to harass quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying this is an under-the-radar game. This is top 3 game of the weekend to me, because like every single time we get the ability to add context on how good a team may be that we think is in the thick of the national championship race, I find that to be really compelling, and it's going to really come down to Brady Cook and whether or not he's able to do what he needs to do. Now, I think that the best thing about Mizzou and his ability to have a good game is that they have one of the best receivers in college football that can turn any play into a big explosive touchdown. So, and that's Luther Burden. So like that combo, I think gives Brady Cook a chance to get into a rhythm in this game. And he's going to have to, because A&M's been a tough out this year.
So if you're playing Prize Picks, which is the best daily fantasy game in America, and if you're not playing it, by the way, download that app, use the code STAPLES, play $5 and get $50 instantly. The way you play it is you pick a player. There's a statistical category. You decide if they're going to do more than that or less than that. For Brady Cook, his passing yard number is 224.5. Do you think he's going to do more or less? I will throw some numbers at you, Ari, from Texas A&M's last 3 games. Now, these are all wins for Texas A&M. And so I don't want people to think I am necessarily predicting the outcome of the game here. But we're trying to decide, is Brady Cook going to throw for more than or less than 224.5 yards? 249 is how much Florida threw for. 250, how much Bowling Green threw for. 279, how much Arkansas threw for. And I don't think any of those offenses were particularly successful against Texas A&M. They scored 20, 20, and 17 points. But the yardage total was more than 224.5 in each of those cases. I think Brady Cook is going to throw for more than this number. Yeah, I think he may have to throw for a lot more than this number to win the game, though.
Yeah, it is interesting because you do look at the scoreboards and the way that Texas A&M has played, and you kind of get fooled at the notion that like they were just making opposing offenses, throw fits, but they were moving the ball up and down. And let me ask you, of all the 3 opponents that Texas A&M has beaten since losing to Notre Dame, which one of them had Luther Burden on it?
None of them. Nobody had a receiver this good.
Yeah. And I think, frankly, a lot of teams in college football, you could say that about.
So the Bowling Green tight end is the best receiver they faced since that game. So Luther Burden's obviously better than that.
Yeah, so I think that actually bodes quite well. Now, A&M is probably going to want to control the football a little bit and, make this a physical, A&M type game. And that means that Mizzou has to stay on the field, right? Like you can't, go 3 and out.
The Taylor Green, Jaquindon Jackson combo for Arkansas, which is a really potent rushing combo. Arkansas only averaged 3.3 yards a carry against A&M. Missouri is going to have to throw. Like Noel and Harris usually can carry you on the ground too. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that in this case. I think Missouri's going to have to throw a bunch here. So I like the more than 224.5. It really is going to depend on how dynamic Brady Cook is to determine whether Missouri wins this game or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you can get some help from the rushing attack to move the sticks, to get more passing attempts, to keep the ball, time of possession is going to be important. And it's just not just for, Brady Cook's passing numbers, but whether or not Missouri is going to be in a position to win the game in the fourth quarter, because, A&M, people have left for dead since they lost to Notre Dame. I think is a lot better than people think. They crack back into the top 25. Their defense is nasty. They play tough physical football, and they're going to want to get Mizzou off the field quickly.
This is going to be a great game, and already one that may help shape the playoff picture, because if Missouri loses, we will probably have a pretty different opinion about whether they're a playoff contender. And if Texas A&M wins, we may have a very different opinion about whether they are a playoff contender. So a lot can happen in the space of 3.5 hours. We'll see how Brady Cook slings it at Kyle Field on Saturday.